Hello everyone, I'm Heather. I'm back for a really quick video, and this one really has to be quick because I have a Zoom meeting in like 20 minutes. I just wanted to come on and say really quickly my TBR for the summer school readathon that's coming up in July. So it's for the whole month of July and it's run by Doris at Aldi Books, and I really like this idea. So it's like basically you read a book to do with each subject or whatever. And I guess like if you finish reading the book for that subject, you pass that subject for summer school. That's what I'm going with. I reckon that should be the premise. Okay, so the first category, and they're like really American style categories. So I'm American, so I fully understand what they are, and I remember these very well from when I was a child. But living here in the UK, I can see, you know, some of the names for things are a bit different. Like I think here in the UK they don't use the words language arts to describe like, you know, like literature as a subject. So I think here it would be like English literature or whatever. But anyway, so my first category is language arts, and for that, so it's like, you know, classics and literature and things of highbrow nature, if you will. So I'm going with one that I've been trying to read for ages, and also that I suggested for my book club, and we're going to do it for August, so this is like two birds with one stone. I'm going to read The House on Mango Street by Sandra Cisneros. And it's a classic. It's a bit of like a modern classic. So my edition is actually the 25th anniversary edition, so it's been around quite a while. And it's about a Latino girl growing up in Chicago, and it's told in like snippets, you know, like in vignettes and stuff, like, you know, connected stories. And I really like things like that, and I like Latino authors, so I'm excited. I've heard loads of good things about this one, and it's been on my list for ages, so I'm really excited. Okay, so the next one is Math. Or maths, if you will, in the UK. And for that one, Doris is just like, oh, you know, something to do with math or just something with a number in it. And I was like, oh, well, I have something with a number in it. That is 84 Charing Cross Road by Helen Hanff. So this is another book club book that I have to read for my book club, and that's the July book. So I'm just like killing all these birds with all these stones. So I bought this book and then it went missing for ages, and I was like, what the hell? Like everyone in the book club on like the WhatsApp, they were on about, you know, giving it a start and like ordering it in and having it blah blah, and I was like, where the hell is mine gone? And then I went outside and I found it under my husband's chair. He had stolen it. Jerk. But he read it and he said it's amazing, so I'm pretty excited. Like he's on this kick now where he's gonna read like the 1001 books you should read before you die or whatever, like in that book, and this was actually one of them and I didn't know. But anyway, this is like letters between like so it's in 1949, and it's a writer and a bookstore person, like a bookseller, and they're sort of writing back and forth to each other. And I think one of the people is in New York and one is in London, and so it's like really sort of 1940s, 1950s like differences between the UK and the US, I think is what my husband said. So I'm excited. Loads of people love this one. And I think there's also 2 in 1 in this one. So it's like the beginning one, which is maybe only half, and then like a sequel part at the end, and it's all together in one. It's really small. Anyway, like I have like a bit of a theme with this readathon, which is books that are tiny. Okay, so the next one is social studies, and I don't know what they call that here in the UK, but I imagine it'd be like, I don't know, geography, or well, maybe not geography, like I remember from school it was things like studying, you know, what happens in other countries and sort of like learning about, you know, different parts of the world and different history of the world and like geography type things. I don't know what they would call that here. But anyway, so for that, I decided to do Strange Weather in Tokyo by Hiromi Kawakami, because obviously it's about Japan. It's about things that happen in Japan. So, you know, social studies, right? What do you guys think? So I don't know really anything about this one, except that several people on BookTube have said it is delightful. One night when she's drinking alone in a local bar, Tsukiko, oh, I love that name. I love Japanese names. If it wasn't like weird to name my British daughter a Japanese name, like I would have done it. Tsukiko finds herself sitting next to her former high school teacher. Over the coming months, they share food and drink sake. And as the seasons pass, from spring cherry blossom to autumnal mushrooms, Tsukiko and her teacher come to develop a hesitant intimacy, which tilts awkwardly and poignantly towards love. Aww. A weird love story. I'm in. Okay, so the next one is science. And for this one, like, I've never liked science, to be totally honest with you. Or math, that's not my bag. But for this one, I decided to do Uncommon Knowledge by Tom Standage. And it's by The Economist, which I love. I get this magazine loads. Oh, where'd it go? Oh shit. Okay, one here. Like, does anyone read this magazine? It's really good. It's quite expensive, mind. Like, I would say the vast majority of the money I spend goes on just funding my Economist addiction. But it's a really good magazine about, like, world affairs, various sort of goings on and, like, opinions and sort of stuff like that. Also, they have, like, a book recommendation section in the back, which is the mark of a good magazine, if you ask me. But anyway, so The Economist explains loads of, like, random scientific bits of crap. The slow progress, if you will, the slow progress towards gender parity in the sciences. Like, it just gives, like, little quick bits of things. So things that you're curious about or not curious about or whatever. How English speaking proficiency varies from industry to industry. What is sustainable finance? How to do the most good possible. Oh, I like that one. Why, quote, spice is worse than other drugs. Now that sounds interesting, because I saw a guy out on spice in town the other day, and it obviously, like, wasn't funny, and, like, people had their phones out, and that was really shit, because obviously he's, like, having a moment, and just let him have his moment. But he was having a hell of a time on spice, and he took all his clothes off and ran down the road buck naked, and almost slammed into this really old lady who, like, this was right when the lockdown was sort of starting to lift, you know, and, like, people were sort of emerging from their cocoons. This woman looked like she hadn't been out for a good 2 or 3 months, and the first thing she saw was a big white willy just in her face. Do you know what I mean? She looked like she wanted to go back home. Anyway, I got off track. What was I saying? Yeah. Anyway, this looks really interesting. Why opium and cocaine production has reached record highs. Like, it's just, like, little things like that, you know what I mean? Just, like, loads of, like, little snippets of stuff. And I'm really into stuff like that. I like interesting facts. So that's my science book. The next one is exploratories. So I've never heard this word, really. I think it must be sort of a regional school word in America. Where I grew up in America, I think we called it extracurriculars and or electives. So stuff you sort of pick extra on the side. It's not like something that you have to have, but you've chosen it, you know? And for this one, I have chosen to read The Library of Unrequited Love by Sophie DeVry. I have chosen this because pretty much all of my extracurricular time or, like, elective time in school was either spent on the library or unrequited love. So, like, I don't want to go into it, but it just describes my whole life. So this one is apparently just basically a monologue by this librarian. She, like, comes in and finds that someone has been locked in the library overnight, and she just sort of, like, splooges, like, verbally on him, you know, and she just says all these things. Like, she rails against snobbish senior colleagues, an ungrateful and ignorant public, the strictures of the Dewey Decimal System, and the sinister expansionist conspiracies of the books themselves. Like, I just feel like this woman is basically me, and I need to know her better. That's my exploratories. Okay, so the next thing is Common Core. So in the UK, we don't have this Common Core thing. It's an American, like, educational system thing. And, like, to be honest, all of my friends and family back home who are parents in America hate it. I don't really know why. I don't fully understand the system, to be honest. But, like, I guess it's, like, you know, set core things that each school has to sort of follow and teach their kids in order for kids to, you know, come out with a certain set education, you know, and not just, like, loads of different crazy stuff. Anyway, whatever. So for this Common Core thing, Doris has chosen that you pick a fiction book and a non-fiction book that pair together. And I don't know anything about Common Core, but I love that idea. And seeing people's TBRs about this, about which fiction and non-fiction books they've, like, put together, It's brilliant. I love this idea. I might just change my whole world and only read fiction and non-fiction pairings from now on. It's a gorgeous idea. I love it. And for it, I've chosen Patrick Lee Fermer's A Time to Keep Silence and J.L. Carr's A Month in the Country. So one of these is fiction, one of them is non-fiction. But I can't remember which one it is. Oh wait, no, this one is the non-fiction. This one actually happened. So Patrick Lee Fermer, he was like a traveling guy. He did like loads of crazy stuff in World War II, like spying and espionage and like weird trips and stuff. And he's written several books about that. Like, I can't remember the name. I'll like put it up somewhere. But my husband loves that, and he loves Patrick Lee Fermer, and he stole this book from me when I bought it. And he said it's quite good. So this one is about, he goes to a monastery or monasteries in France for a bit, and just has quiet contemplation amongst the monks. I quite like Patrick Lee Fermer. I quite like the idea, just quiet, calm contemplation amongst the monks. I like how he writes. I like his writing style. So I think I'm pretty excited about that one. And then this is the non-fiction one, which is related in that it's about someone after the First World War goes to a village in England, into like a church or like a monastery or something, some sort of, you know, cathedral or something, and helps to restore this like medieval wall painting on the church or the cathedral or whatever. And he just sort of spends like a month in this quiet contemplation in this like church environment, sort of similar but non-fiction, or similar but fiction. Fiction. This one is the fiction. This one is the non-fiction. Oh, Jesus. So the last one is research. And that was supposed to be something you don't really know anything about, or something that will help you to think more, to like expand your horizons. So this is my only thicky book, and actually I think it'll probably take me a while to read it as well, because it's quite like cerebrally, do you know what I mean? And my husband also stole this book from me, and sort of got more than halfway through, like nearly to the end I think, and then just couldn't take it anymore. He's like, I need a break, my mind is gonna explode. And then he said he would go back. I don't know if he will do, but I still want to read it because he said it was good, and loads of people have said it's good. It's just like a mind meltdown is basically what happens. And it is the Zen and the Art of Motorcycle Maintenance by Robert M. Pirsig. So I can't remember, but I think the idea with this is he was like ridiculously intelligent, like one of the most intelligent people or something, like this craziness. And then he had like a lobotomy or something, like he went into like mental health asylum or something like that, and had shocks or like a lobotomy or something, and it took away like all of his memories, and he had to like re-find his memories or something. I don't know. Anyway, anyone who knows anything about this, please let me know. If that is completely incorrect, I'm gonna need to be informed of that pronto. Not that it's gonna change my mind to read it, but anyway, it's quite thick and quite heavy, and it's like a lot of like heavy philosophy and stuff. So we'll see how well I do. It's my plan. It's a whole month, and all of the other books that I have chosen for it are quite small, you know, tiny ones. So I think it'll be okay. Like, I also am working on like several other readathons for July. I'm trying to kill my like booktube anniversary TBR annihilation project that I've brought for myself. Also there's Reading Rush at the end of July, and I have like a whole list of things for that as well. God knows. So here is, oh shit, that is my TBR list for the summer school readathon. If anyone else is doing this readathon, let me know so I can look at your TBR and like follow you while it's going through. I'm really excited to stalk various people who are doing this one because I think it's going to be really good. And if anyone has any comments about the books that I want to read, if you read them, if you think they're going to be good or bad or whatever, just let me know. Shit, I gotta go to my meeting. Okay, thank you for watching. Until next time, okay, love you, bye. Bye, bye.